everybody. This is Justin Case of American Newscape, rejoining our friend Priscilla Burke of One Seat at a Time, a remarkable nonprofit. Hello, Priscilla. Welcome back to American Newscape.
Hello.
Well, it's great to have you back, and you've been here with your husband David before, and we're
Correct.
excited to do this. We're excited to do this interview. So let's kick it off with Priscilla. Where have you been, and what's happening in your world? Uh,
Um, well, today I've been building water lines, but we have been working on multiple projects actually. The newest one has been One Seat at a Time. It is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit, and it is committed to conversations about food and community. We are building public garden spaces, whether that be at school gardens, community gardens, libraries, things like that. And teaching people how to cultivate and care for their gardens. There's nothing more rewarding really than growing your own food, and it's financially a bonus as well. So
well, Priscilla, I've always said, and there are times that getting your hands in the dirt is actually very therapeutic. So spending time in the beds, in the gardens, with your plants is a healthy choice.
well, it's actually a good mental health like relaxer. You know, gardening, like you said, having your hands in the soil, there's something about it's grounding. And there's actually scientific evidence behind that. Um, but the routines of it and the physical activity of it are all very important for your mental health. It's a, great stress reliever to have this thing to focus on. And we have found in our family, especially with my husband, and how he works in heavy civil construction, he's around a lot of loud, big, fast moving things that have him at an elevated, like heightened state all the time. And so, when he's home, that gardening thing is kind of the thing that brings him back into this space.
Well, yeah, and when I was younger, alcohol seemed to help, but hello, child. But
My
now,
goodness, when
hi. And now it's gardening. Gardening I can actually clear my mind, my thoughts, do something productive, and then get back to the grind.
well, and you know, gardening is a great tool for teaching these guys too. It's teaching them a coping skill without them realizing that that's what we're doing.
Well, yeah. I
And the bonus is she gets to walk through and pick whatever, and I don't have to worry about it. Like, she's making good choices without even knowing that she's doing it.
Well, I would encourage everybody to check out the Fig Hunter website, which is your husband David and your website, and then also the farm website, because you
Correct.
guys are extremely involved in, well, I don't want to say micro agriculture, but you're actually making a difference. I mean, you're shipping products, you're inviting other people to learn what you've learned. One thing about Priscilla and David is they're willing to share the information. It's not a secret, but some of it's very
Not a
complicated.
gatekeeper.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Um,
so
and that's something that you mentioned, that's something that I have run into in some of the local um like gardening groups and like the master gardeners and UC extensions and things like that, is that sometimes people, they want to gatekeep that information. They want you to pay for it, and it's
well,
not really what we're about.
not only well exactly, and not I could speak of master gardeners because I have some in my family, but a lot of them are very proud of what they know, and they just don't want to share that
No,
knowledge with
no
others.
play back, mommy.
So,
Why don't you go sit down? I know she's a little wily today.
well,
He
she,
looks like a crocodile.
They just got out of school this week, so
oh well, then she has time on her hands. Time on her hands.
she does.
Well, can you can you talk a little
It
bit?
looks like a crocodile's mouth.
Yes, baby, it does.
Can you
Pinky,
speak?
can I talk now?
Can you speak a little bit to the education programs you're involved in?
Um, yeah, so we actually are working with another local nonprofit called Tehama Together, and they have a food alliance group as well as their gardening group. And both of those are community outreach programs where, for instance, the community garden group, they are wanting to put in some gardens into some lower income housing units around here and teach how to do like soil amendments and as we had talked about, what seeds to plant for what season and how we should be doing companion planting, what trees will work in our environment because it gets, today is 102. We're looking at, I believe, 109 in the middle of next week. But it's not uncommon in July and August to be up to 117 here. So you really have to have things that will withstand that without having to use too much water.
Right, because water is a precious commodity, particularly in California.
Right.
And then we all, I've always said that all gardeners have a specific gift, whether it's a specific plant. We always know that Aunt Julie grew the best tomatoes. We always knew that Grandma grew the best cucumbers and made the best pickles. And this gives everybody a chance to find their own passion
Mm-hmm.
and revisit what their grandparents may have been doing with a Liberty Garden back in the day.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It was something interesting when we had our North State Seed and Scion Exchange back in March. We realized that the community had this desire, they really had this need for wanting to learn to grow, but we are so far removed from the whole process that I can't tell you how many people ask, well, okay, I have the seeds or I have the starts. What do I do next? Like the whole process of like planting the seed fruition is a lost art really. And I'm grateful that my kids get to experience, we've been blessed with, we were able to buy property at the right time in the right market. But there's so many kids that are their ages that are stuck in apartments, or they might have a house but they're in town and they don't have this big yard, and so the community doesn't know what to do. And our goal is to be able to teach them, well, you don't have to have a lot of space to be able to grow your own food.
Well, you can actually grow your own food inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And,
I actually get a lot of questions about if we can take fig trees inside.
well, I assume you can. I wouldn't expect a bumper crop, but
No, but if it's just you looking for a handful of fruit, it's a grapefruit tree to have inside.
well, there you go. I need to move more of my figs inside because
They're pretty low maintenance.
well, I, as Priscilla's husband knows, I'm kind of the kiss of death to fig trees, whether it's the bugs or the nematodes in the ground. But
Yeah,
again,
that's a
there again, her husband is probably one of the most gifted fig people in the country, and that's how I met him, and that's how I met Priscilla. And they've just bent over backwards to try and help me. And That's the beauty of the community, and that's the beauty of getting into these gardening communities. Just find the one you fit into.
Absolutely. And there's always people from different like growing zones that can come together and make suggestions about, oh, well, I'm in zone 7. What can I grow here that would be okay? And we can talk about, well, are you planting in ground or are you planting in container? And then we can figure out the best information based on that.
And provide support. That's the beauty of it, because we do need
Hmm.
support. Is this bug a good bug or is this bug a bad bug? And
Oh
for
yeah. I
no, go ahead. For most people, most bugs are good bugs.
oh yeah, we leave a lot of the bugs here. We don't use any pesticides or anything like that. I have small kids, and so everything that I use is organic. Um, I love the products that we get from Ivy Organics because I can let them like
Play,
child labor and not worry about it because they just think they're painting.
but
Um,
it's not labor to them. It's a pat. Even they, we talk about genetic makeup, but even they have developed a passion for gardening.
mhm. Oh yeah, they love. I can't go to a store that has like a garden department without. Can we get this? Can we go get that? I have tomato plants in various places around the property because we bring a couple home one week and then a couple of weeks later we might bring home another 3 or 4 and so but I'm glad that they have learned that skill set at a young age because it's going to, like I said, help them in the future. They're going to have that coping skill in their back pocket. They're going to have that survival skill in their back pocket. And they don't even know it.
Well, they don't.
To them, it's just part of life.
Well, absolutely. And every intelligent human being needs to understand that one day diamonds, gold, oil is not going to be important. It's going to be food and water.
Absolutely. And I grew up where my family did a lot of canning. So we would grow a garden in our backyard, and it was a lot of companion planting and ripping out grass to have this edible like landscape. And then a lot of that went into being able to save it for the future. Because I grew up in a family of 5 in Napa, and if anyone knows anything about Napa, it's not the cheapest economy to live
No.
in. So I can say that growing up that way, it taught me how valuable of a skill it was, and it, as a family, it allowed us to be able to like stretch our finances in that type of economy.
Well, this is off topic, but when you met David, did you both have an interest and passion for growing things?
Oh yeah. So I remember when we first moved to Red Bluff, we lived in town and we talked to our landlord and said, "Hey, would it be okay if we like re-landscaped the backyard?" And he said, "As long as if it's something I don't like, it can be easily undone. I have no problem." And we planted the biggest garden we could for that square footage.
Yeah.
And I had tomato plants that were like trees. They were like bending over. They were like 8 feet tall, and I had to like trellis them. And we had squash coming out of our ears. But it was just that togetherness, that ability to be able to interact as a family with a common goal and have your hands in the dirt and just relax and get some vitamin D out in the sun and not have to like worry about all the other things that you can worry about.
Well, and that's why I like to call it therapy in its own in its own fashion. And all you single people out there, think about that. If your passion is gardening, and that's probably what brought you here. I belong to probably 30 gardening groups, if not 40, on social media, zone related, type of garden,
Hmm.
exchange groups where you send me does anybody have these seeds? And it can be a lot of fun. So I'm excited that you're doing this, Priscilla, and before we get rid of you, we want you to promise to come back to us and tell us how we can help you, other
Oh,
than
absolutely.
how can we help you today?
Well, if you are local, we always need volunteers. We have a picnic in the park that we are co-sponsoring for 4th of July, and it is a fundraiser for one seat at a time. And then August 31st, we are doing the second annual Fig Fest on the River here in Red Bluff. Volunteers are much appreciated for setup, hanging out. You get to enjoy some free figs and fig foods. And then through our website, oneseed.org, and that's the number one, the word seed.org, there's actually a page that you can either sign up to volunteer or you can choose to donate. And there's a link for donation there too.
Well, while we're here, why don't you give us a brief overview of the Fig Hunter website? What can we find
So that
there?
is that is the fighunter.shop. And there you can find many of the California native hybrids that we have found. I know we're over 2,100. I haven't looked at the master list recently. I know that Wednesday when I was down visiting David, he found another one in the hotel like shrubbery hanging out underneath a telephone pole. So um, that's what the Fig Hunter does is we find the wild seedling varieties that occur here in California. We propagate them, we research them for various characteristics, and the ones that we find to be like the best are the ones that we offer for sale to the public.
Well, and David propagates those once discovered.
Oh yeah.
But here is a man that has a gift, has a sixth sense of finding figs when he's driving down the
Oh
highway at
yes.
70
Oh
miles an hour.
yes. Oh yes. I have been in the vehicle and had to turn around because hey, there's a fig.
Well, and if you want to believe that or have a better understanding of that, you need to go view some of David's videos of discovering figs and going to that fig and trying to identify it, which he has a gift for that too, because some of these figs are so similar to one another that identification can be difficult as well.
Right. Um, so that's why we put in the search bar at the top, you can always put in like the number or the name and it'll take you so that you can see what is on the website there, which is nice. But I mean, but he's found his niche and he enjoys it because the kids enjoy it. So
Well, right, and absolutely, and the kids are
right,
involved.
kids. Oh yes. Sometimes they don't want to be, but then when they get to see the end result, they're pretty proud of their work. So
Well, and having mom and dad passionate about it and proud of it, that makes it a little bit easier for them too.
right. And we do so a big thing that we do with the Fig Hunter is we have the free giveaway. You're just paying the postage, and you usually get about a handful of cuttings. Baby. But then we also, with the schools, we will donate cuttings if you want to propagate with the kids in the classroom. We have done it with our girls' classrooms ever since my oldest was in kindergarten, and well, today is her last day of fourth grade.
Wow.
So we've been doing it that long with the classrooms. We've even done it with the preschools for the younger two that have gone to preschool, their classes. And it's fun to watch kids get excited because they actually get to see in real time, like, hey, there's roots on this thing. How did that work? You know,
Yeah.
the just that excitement to see them is exciting for us. So,
Well, it's exciting for us adults as well.
right.
Yeah, exactly. So it is. It is wonderful that you can share that, and I'm really excited that you're sharing your passion with the region, and I think it will become much bigger than that. I think you will find spirits such as yourself all around the country. That who knows how big this will get. My favorite saying: "Stand back. I'm not sure how big this is going to get."
We the bigger it gets, the better because like we firmly believe that everybody should have their own food available to them. So,
Certainly, and especially the skill. So, Priscilla, why don't you leave us with a final thought or two, and we'll let your daughter get back to her crocodile.
oh yes. Um, so our biggest thing at One Seed is that everything starts with one seed, one dream, and we are growing change one seed at a time.
Well, that's exciting, Priscilla, and we're going to provide all the links in the read more to all these websites and a few of the social media links as well. And we want to everybody. This has been Justin Case and Priscilla Burke, bringing you American Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Remember, additional information and links are provided in this video's read more. Today is the day to subscribe to this channel. Please learn more about
Bye.
one seed at a time and Priscilla Burke when time permits.